Hello. Been a little while since I've done one of these. Had some personal life stuff going on and just wasn't really into it. But I'm back again. Friday I received a box with some things from Atari. New stuff made for the 2600 Plus. So I'm going to have a wee look here. So I haven't even opened up the Amazon box. Patient guy. Something that comes with being older. I wanted to make sure the time was right before I dove in to the new things that have come out. And let's see. I didn't get everything. I got almost everything. So, item 1, CX30 paddles, standalone. So now I got 2 sets of paddles. If some miracle happens and 4 people want to play something, like Video Olympics or whatever, it should be good to go. I am curious to see if the potentiometers are any different. I know from reading the Atari Age forums that PlayOn is apparently experimenting with some different potentiometers on the back of some user complaints about the twitchiness of some game performance with these paddles that were released with the 4-in-1. Whether or not these are exactly the same, I guess I'll find out. Anecdotal reports are that over time they start to develop this jitter even if they don't have it initially. But most games aren't affected. It seems that the main complaints are around stability and precision in Super Breakout and Kaboom. But, you know, in Kaboom, that's one that, you know, I can kind of get. I've played it on Stella using Apple Touchpad support, and it's very playable. You know, I can do pretty well. With these paddles, the newer paddles, not so much. So I am sympathetic to people who have pointed this stuff out, whether or not it's down to the actual potentiometers in the paddles or the emulator and how it reads a paddle input. Some folk are asked the question, is it actually being seen as a native input, or is it being treated like an analog joystick? Which is probably significant. Maybe, I don't know. Enough technical stuff to tell you. Let's see, but moving on. The main event for 7800 fans is the other items. The CX78 Plus gamepad, which is a recreation of a controller that was originally only sold in Europe. For the 7800, everybody in North America had to make do with that weird oblong thing with the cylindrical knob and buttons on the side. This has an actual gamepad with a D-pad on it and 2 buttons. So I've never seen one of these. I never had a 7800. My first experience of playing 7800 games was probably on the Evercade. Possibly the flashback collections on the PlayStation. And that brings us, of course, to these. Now, Ninja Golf is one of these re-releases that has come out. And it notes on the back 2-button controller required, so this packaging is going to be different from the original because of that and the QR code. In PAL territories, we are selling a clearly marked PAL cartridge. Food Fight was originally supposed to be released at the same time. However, that game is not compatible with the 1.0 firmware in the 2600 Plus and has been pulled from release or stopped from release in most PAL territories. It's not clear what they're going to do with that because there is no official firmware update. And of course you have the problem of forking the 2600 line, because not everybody who gets one of those is going to be aware that you can update the thing, since it doesn't have update instructions that come with it. You know, there's a whole host of issues related to this that I've talked about elsewhere. I will not do it again. And the last item, and Food Fight is not a big deal to me. I have the ability to play the arcade version in a few different places, and I prefer that anyway. So I was happy to just cancel my pre-order. But the 7800 version of Fatal Run, which is not included in Evercade. Evercade has the 2600 version of Fatal Run. I might have played this in one of the flashback collections. I haven't gotten to those on the PlayStation yet. I am thinking of not just going and doing an exhaustive. I'm going to play every game in there because, frankly, a lot of them aren't necessarily going to be single player, or even if they are, they're not going to be games I'm particularly keen on. So I'm thinking I'll do a curated kind of run through of the titles that are included in the various compilations on the PlayStation. And also noting the stuff that's, you know, in the Atari 50 that isn't in the flashback collections, and vice versa, because I believe there are areas where they do not overlap. It's certainly true of the arcade things. Anyway, I'm going to open these little guys up just to have a look. I'm actually kind of surprised at how economical they are with the packaging. This is really, I thought this would be larger for some reason. Maybe I was just focusing on it is just big enough to fit the paddles. Still silky smooth, just like the other ones. Whether or not that's true in actual gameplay, I will find out. So that's cool. I always find it interesting they're not marked in any way. So, you know, even though it's two controllers off one cord, you are still kind of like, which one is the live one? Which one is left and which one is right? But authentic to the original experience, right? So, not actually an issue for me. Alright, let's see what we've got in here. Again, this is quite economical with the space. It's a fairly the Atari logo, or Atari, this is a raised piece of colorful plastic. There is a little hat switch, or, you know, thumbstick that fits on there. I don't know if that was removable on the original CX78 or not, but they've opted not to have it installed by default. Ben from Play On has anecdotally noted that he prefers to use it without. It's a pretty tight gamepad. I know he tested this quite a lot. In terms of the size, it is a bit smaller than a Nintendo NES gamepad, if memory serves. Button action seems okay. I probably would have liked them a little closer together maybe, but again, we're aiming for authenticity. So, it's cool. I'm sure it'll be fine. I only have a handful of 7800 games, none of which require 2 action buttons. So these two, Fatal Run and Ninja Golf, are going to be my first 2-button 7800 cartridges. And the box nicely has a little, opens nicely instead of being a tear it open kind of thing like the old carts. Although maybe by the 7800 they'd stop that. Oh, again, we're doing a little sleeve thing like with Berserk and that. That's kind of cool. P sticker on the back for PAL. Still having the gray on the front, but it is a full color sticker. I don't know if that was actually the case with the original release of these. And a game guide, a manual. Look at that. Pretty cool. So this is again something that was listened to. People complained about the fact that Mr. Run and Jump and Berserk and the 10-in-1 and 4-in-1 compilations did not have manuals for the games, meaning that you had to go and seek them out yourself online, or, you know, either at the Atari website, which was not in a format that was easily downloadable, in addition to not being as thorough as the original manuals in terms of telling you what game modes there were. Anyway, so that's the things opened, and now let's play some Atari. Okay. I'm gonna do a quick perusal. I got a demo coming up. So the backstory is that this is your final test to become a Master Ninja. And your Ninja Master is a bit weird, but nothing prepared you for this. Alright, so I'm going to pick my trajectory. So this is not as complicated a game as, say, as a regular golfing game. Oh, whoa! I'm not pressing anything. Oh, I have a sticky A button. I have to like click at a separate time to stop this kicking being spammed. Oh, stars. No, it's not. So a little more QA on the joypad, I think, would have been in order. Come on. At least you can still jump while you're spamming the kick button. So I'm not being overtly penalized. And the B button does not have a sticky problem, it's only the A one. Press down to do it down. It's a subtle difference. You can see a slight difference in the animation when you're kicking. Alright. So most golf games you'd have to do stuff like think about the wind's direction and how much, what club and all this kind of jazz. This is just right. When the dot is where you want it to go, just press the freaking button. And then it goes there. Notice my A button is not sticking anymore, so maybe it was just a little bit even. So you break it in possibly? Nope, it's stuck again. So maybe if I press it, it's still doing it. Okay, well, I'll experiment. I've got some kind of spray lubricant I could try on it, like WD-40 or something. Because that might cause me a problem. I've already used all my shurikens accidentally by the spamming. Oh, this one's... It looks really good, I have to say. You got the big screen and everything, so I do think this is a pretty good presentation over the Evercade, at least from what I remember of it. Cool. You still have to run through the sand trap, right? I mean, you can't just... Nope. Now. Ow. real precise. Get them right in the mouth. It's kind of hard to time it. There we go. Nope. Oh. Fabulous. Of course, unlike Evercade, I can't pause this, so, or save the game progress. So that's kind of annoying. I guess I'm running underwater. In your face. Nope. Ah, I can't. My timing's no good from the speedy run. It's like Space Invaders. You gotta get that. Ah. Yeah, there we go. Right. Ooh, green ninjas in the forest. They're kind of tough. I think I've seen the forest before. Alright, forest. Oh, there's birds. Oh, yellow ninjas. Ow, that hurt a lot. I can't fight the birds, it looks like. Just gotta dodge them. You jump kick. Jump kick the birds. That would have been good. It doesn't seem, I don't seem to be having a sticking problem now that I've reported initially, which is, oh, and of course I'm playing with the thing trying to see if it's not sticking and I mess my shot up. I gotta say the sound effects in these 7800 games, it's really interesting. I don't know if it's like better or worse than 2600 ones, but this is really sounds funny. Okay. If I make it past hole 5, I'll be stunned, because these guys are getting pretty tough. Ow. Come on now. Oh, let's get the... Ow. Frickin' gophers, man. These guys are beating the tar out of me. Oh. Now there we go. You have failed. You have caused dishonor. Yeah. But not upon my master, apparently. Is to try again. What? Classic Atari fashion, there is no continue. Okay, Ninja Golf. Not bad. I mean, the controller the gamepad had a little bit of some teething issues there, but think we did okay, to be honest. Whoa. I don't know what some of these symbols mean. That would have been handy to tell me. I selected something that looks like a right arrow. That's the oil slick. Oh, the missiles were far off in the distance. Nope, I'm out of missiles. Oh, I got 6 guns left. What did I just hit? I picked up something. Tire repairs globe obtained, it says on the bottom. Let's go faster and faster and faster. Oh, okay, that was a shield or something. What was that, a barrier? Some of these things are on the side of the road. It's not clear if they're going to come up in front of you. See, like that car, for example. It's like a blue dot. It looked like it was on the side, but it's not. It's a green thing. Is that something I wanted to hit? I know, I don't got nothing. Oh, let's go. What? Oh, approaching city. So it automatically slows down. Because I made it. I hope. Wait, there's a car. I just said approaching city. I guess I'm not approaching? Oh, my front bumper is jacked. I mean, it looks pretty groovy. Oh, there's the city. I'm almost out of bullets. What's going on? Oh, there we go. I saved somebody. 2 people. 3 people. 1 perished. Oh no. 2 perished. Wow, that's kind of grim. Oh no, that guy died too. Jeez. Was it because I didn't get there fast enough? That's pretty harsh, man. 11. Look at all the people I saved. 12. Right, so I get to the shop now. Let's see. So I want to repair tire retread. They're 100%. Got enough fuel. I can only. I have to click for each 10%. Jeez. Engine cylinder. The tires seem to be good. I think I've repaired my car. So let's see what I can upgrade. Windscreen glass. $300 to upgrade. Oh, that's too expensive. Oh, that's a lot. I don't have any smoke and stuff. Nitro. Alright, buy as much ammo as I can. What's this thing? Brake drum. Better handling, huh? Oil. Let's try the windscreen. And then, where's the smoke? There we go. Alright, I guess that's everything. Okay, we're leaving town. Whoa. Maybe we'll invest in better brakes next time. I'll tell you. For the purposes of this video, I think that's sufficient. A Fatal Run, not too shabby. You know, 7800 version. There's better graphics, more colors and all that kind of good stuff. No complaints from me. So, we'll just do a quick little workout of the new paddles, just to see what they've got going on. If they are in fact any different in performance to the paddles that I got with the 4-in-1. So far so good. Oh, just missed that one. I don't got any complaints so far. It feels pretty tight. Oh, I don't feel like I'm getting jacked because the thing's flipping back and forth. It's just I'm missing them. So that was a good run. I mean, it wasn't a good run of the game. It was just a good test. How's that? Super Breakout. If I remember correctly, try this one. It seems pretty smooth. It's stuttering a little bit. One of the back and forth I've seen in the forum about Super Breakout in particular is that it is noted as being a fairly finicky game generally. So nothing necessarily specific to paddles, although again, some people say, well, I'm playing on Stella and I'm using the power, and I get this, and I'm like, well, is Stella doing something? Is your, you know, I mean, there's a lot of factors at play with these things. But this feels fine to me. I mean, I do want to do an A and B with with the paddles that came with the 4-in-1 though. And again, some of the issues I think are with the sensitivity and the resolution, and meaning the amount of play in the twisting of the knob that has to happen before there's an on-screen reaction. That's what they mean by resolution, is the number of pixels that the paddle moves on screen per, you know, degree of travel or whatever. And if I can be cheeky as hell for a moment, I would suggest that, you know, maybe some of the people having issues are just frickin' old and their reflexes aren't good as they used to be. Or there's another one that I'm sure people will enjoy. You're not using the controller right. You're just not using it correct. Alright, so we're gonna... I'm not being serious though. If you want to get offended by that, I have no problem with that. By all means, abuse me in the comments. But I didn't see a problem there with this joypad. The new ones, the ones that were issued as standalone, shall we say, which may be identical to the old ones. In which case, I am saying that maybe there's nothing wrong with the older ones. All right, let's try it again. Nope, not that one. I can't tell which one. Which one has more dust on it? Right. Not the greatest at dusting, I have to admit. Now this is interesting. The paddle, the new ones feel a little bit smoother, easier to turn. The older ones are slightly stiffer, and I wonder if that, oh, it's definitely, yeah. I don't even have to play the game to see that the ones I got with the 4-in-1 are definitely showing a lot more stuttering than the newer ones. Look at that. You can see it like flickering back and forth as I move it across. And if I switch back to the paddles I just got, the ones that I just got, the standalone ones, and again, this might not have anything to do with potentiometer. This dial, the dial on the paddle, is a bit less stiff. It is easier to move. And the 4-in-1 paddle, you know, it still feels fine. It's more like the knob on my power amplifier, but it definitely has more resistance going on in it. So I do sense an actual physical difference with these new paddles. And even if the resolution, you know, I'm not going to claim to be super knowledgeable on that, but you know, I can see there's a bit of shadowing when I move it, but that could be redraw, you know. But I can say that when I play the game, it feels a bit more stable to me with these the CX30 paddles as a standalone option than the ones that came with the 4-in-1. The ones that came with the 4-in-1 are still, you know, they're still paddles. And again, there's been so much back and forth on this that I can't honestly say if there's any consensus on what's happening, if it is the emulation, if it is the I/O chip on the machine, if it's the potentiometer and the paddles, what the heck the thing is. But all I can say is I am finding this a lot easier to play with these standalone CX30 paddles than the ones that came with the pack-in, and that could be because of the mechanics, that it's a smoother, or not smoother, but it's easier for me to turn it slightly, I should note. Or if they're just differently made, I don't know. I mean, there's definitely a difference, but I don't want to say, I can't say what that difference is, other than they feel different to the touch. Which for a game when it gets fast like this, I can't say that it wouldn't make a difference. And now it's got the stubby ones. This to me is the most unfair aspect of Super Breakout. It's like, oh, you've broken through the top, but we're going to speed the ball up and we're going to reduce the size of your paddles. Like, really? Is that necessary? Is it not already hard enough if you just make it faster? But that only happens when you you'd hit the ceiling, the top of the playfield. Which you can't do unless you break through. Yeah, this is about as good as a game of cavity as I've been able to get so far. So. I want to be able to clear the, yeah. Right. Well, you know, that's a pleasant surprise. So, new paddles versus old paddle. There is the paddle controllers, the standalone CX30, at least the one that I got. I can't claim to have tested every one that's been sold, but it is, this feels smooth. The original one from the foreign one feels smooth. The action is smooth on it, but it is a little bit, there's a little more resistance, a little more force to turn it. Not a ton. It's not like it's sticky or it's difficult, but this one, the one I just got, 100%, definitely easier to spin the dial, and as you just saw in my Super Breakout game, it does seem to play a lot. It does seem to play better. So, but also, like I noted, our friends that play on are experimenting with different potentiometers. You can fault many things. I'm still unhappy about the lack of support for the keypad controllers, so I can't play Star Raiders. I will never stop being unhappy about that, but you cannot fault these guys for not trying to make improvements. Anyway, final summation. New paddle controllers. If you haven't been overjoyed or you've been on the fence about the paddle controllers because of here, let me turn this camera here so you can see me. If you've been on the fence about paddle controllers because you've been reading these mixed views, or you're saying, well, I don't really need the foreign one cartridge because I have these games in my collection already. Well, the standalone paddles, I think, obviously I've only just plugged them in for 5-10 minutes of play, but I noticed a definite difference with the pack-ins with the foreign one. So get off that fence, get yourself some of these CX30 paddles. The games work great. I've got the 1.0 firmware. I can play Fatal Run and Ninja Golf no problem. The CX78 Plus gamepad had a little bit of teething issues, but just in the course of making a video, I was able to, play successfully and not have a button stick. So I think not perfect. The design is clearly, it is being faithful, but this A button, and now it's not doing it. So I just had to play it a bit. So it might need to be broken in a bit. I'll give that to him. That's not a big deal to me. It's not sticking now. So that's just something to be aware of. But otherwise, not bad. Not a bad, and especially for the 7800 fans who need a 2-button controller and don't necessarily want to pay big money for an old CX78 that a lot of those things are not functioning anymore. They weren't necessarily made. They weren't built to last for 30 years or whatever. So So it's good that they're making new ones. It's good they're catering to this audience of diehard 7800 fans. I'm happy to support and buy the games that need the controller and buy a controller. They're both single-player games. So if you're really enamored of the CX78 and you have 7800 games that are 2-player, get yourself a second one. There is also an extension cord that I didn't buy because my TV is less than 2 meters from my couch, so I drag my 2600 Plus out and put it on a table so that I can actually, when I'm playing with the CX40 joystick, I can set the rubber feet on a glass surface and save my wrist, or my hand rather. having that old classic plastic box digging into the palm of my hand. But yeah, that was. I'm pleased. I would like to see more. They're talking about a new trackball. There's a lot of issues with that around the hardware in here that is not unrelated to the ability to use the driving controller or the keypad controller. So that's you know, can they, if they can tweak the code so that the chip in the machine that's reading input from these controllers will actually read a trackball like a trackball and not treat it like a joystick. Could be fun, you know. A trackball controller with a 4-in-1 that has the code tweaked for things. I mean, I'd buy a new version, you know, if they redid a new version of the 2600 Centipede that had native trackball support added into it, I would be there for that, 100%, because I do like the 2600 version of Centipede. We shall see, you know, watch this space, I guess. Fingers crossed that these items sell well enough that Atari keeps on funding more, because it's kind of fun to have a new 2600 machine. And I still got to get back to the 400 Mini. I haven't forgotten that. I still think that's a worthwhile piece of kit. You know, controller issues aside, which I didn't experience, thankfully. So more of that. I would like to play some more Evercade on video. I think the Duke Nukem games, someone had expressed some interest in them. I've only played Duke Nukem once. I haven't finished it yet, but I definitely should look at the other ones and see what those are about, because I was never a fan back in the day. But we'll see. So expect more videos from me in the near future, and I'll probably be covering a range of old-timey games. Anyway, keep gaming.